We have some strange and dramatic breaking news to bring you right now. It is international intrigue. It's an ongoing story that now involves a head of state and his plane being indefinitely grounded in a foreign country he did not expect to be in. This is about the possible whereabouts of the alleged NSA leaker, Edward Snowden. For the last 9 days, as you know, Mr. Snowden's exact location has been a mystery. He reportedly left Hong Kong on a flight for Russia 9 days ago. He was believed to be holed up inside the transit area of one of Moscow's airports. So he hadn't gone through passport control or anything. He was still just inside the airport. Maybe. Nobody's been able to independently confirm this story because nobody has seen him in the flesh. While he has been missing or in limbo, or at least in the airport, Mr. Snowden has still been releasing messages through the website WikiLeaks. He's been sending out, for example, various asylum requests to foreign governments, which has driven a new round of news stories about where he might end up as he tries to evade American authorities who want him arrested. But in terms of his current location, that Moscow airport was presumed to be where he was for more than a week now. But then late tonight, there has been a strange new development in this story. A number of world leaders from oil-producing nations have been in Russia this week for a meeting. It is a meeting that has now concluded. And within the last few hours, word has trickled out that the airplane carrying the president of Bolivia, Evo Morales, was unexpectedly rerouted after it left Russian airspace and was on its way back to Bolivia with the Bolivian president. Bolivia's president was in Russia for these meetings with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Bolivia was among the countries that Edward Snowden had sought asylum from. But tonight, as Bolivia's president was returning home from that trip to Russia, his state airplane was denied access to some of the European airspace that he needed to fly through in order to get home. It was while his airplane was in mid-flight already that the governments of France and Portugal revoked the authorization they had previously granted for that plane to use their airspace. They revoked that authorization, apparently, because of their suspicion that Edward Snowden was also on board that plane, hightailing it to Bolivia, presumably to seek asylum. After France and Portugal told Bolivia's president, no, you cannot use our airspace, the government of Italy then reportedly followed suit. And that, as you can see, makes kind of a line. With their entire flight plan essentially revoked, the plane carrying Bolivia's president had to circle around for 3 hours seeking permission to land somewhere until they were eventually cleared to land in Austria, of all places. And Austria is where that Bolivian plane remains tonight. The pink line, I think we can show you here. See that pink line? It's kind of thin, but you can see it there in the middle of the screen. Pink line right there is believed to be the flight path for Bolivia's presidential airplane. As you can see, it departs Moscow on what looks to be a very regular flight path, but then it detours abruptly right over Austria. Bolivia, for its part, is furious tonight. They say Edward Snowden is not on board their plane and never has been. They're calling that accusation a misintentioned rumor. And their foreign minister says tonight that this was an act of discrimination on the part of the international community that has put the life of their president in danger. Now, in terms of the U.S. government's role in all this, that remains very, very unclear at this hour. A senior U.S. official is telling NBC News tonight that there is no indication that Edward Snowden has left the airport in Moscow. When asked if it was possible that Mr. Snowden had managed to leave the country on a foreign official's airplane, the official told NBC, quote, "I have heard nothing remotely like that." But again, the news tonight is that the president of Bolivia, Evo Morales, right now, as we speak, is stuck in Austria after being denied access to the airspace he needs to be able to fly over in order to get home. This is a very strange story, to say the least. We will have more as it develops.